Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. This time we're headed to that glittering oasis in the desert, Las Vegas. We've got news announcements, even some pretty serious stats about traffic safety, all giving us like a snapshot of what's happening in Vegas right now. We've even got a piece on a classic Vegas lounge that's making a comeback. And get this, you won't believe which Southern fried chicken place is finally opening in Sin City. To help us sort through all this and find the good stuff, I've got our expert here with us.
It's a really interesting mix of sources. They really show that unique mix of excitement and, you know, real life that makes Vegas what it is.
For sure. Okay, so let's start with a big anniversary. The Rio Hotel and Casino is turning 35. And I know anniversaries come and go, but in a city that's constantly reinventing itself 35 years is kind of a big deal, don't you think?
Totally. You know, in Vegas, hotels aren't just places to stay. They're like landmarks, almost characters in the city's story. Hitting a milestone like this, it means that the Rio has not just survived, but that it's thrived, even with so much competition.
Right. And to celebrate, they're going all out. They're bringing back the Voodoo Lounge, you know, that legendary spot on the 51st floor, with the amazing views of the Strip. Plus, they're offering 35% off room rates through August. That's a pretty good deal for anyone thinking about a summer trip.
Bringing back the Voodoo Lounge is a smart move. There's this growing trend in Vegas of bringing back the classics. You know those experiences that people have great memories of?
Yeah.
But they're also updating it. New cocktails, DJs, trying to bring in a younger crowd too.
Yeah, like they're trying to appeal to different generations.
Right.
Speaking of appealing to different crowds, they're also hosting a Macallan tasting event for the whiskey lovers. And a UFC 311 viewing party at their Luckley Tavern and Grill for the sports fans.
It's like classic strategy for a hotel that wants to attract everyone. They're trying to offer something for everyone. High rollers, casual tourists. It'll be interesting to see if it works for them over time.
Yeah. Okay, let's switch gears to something I'm personally excited about, the Las Vegas entertainment scene. 2025 is looking like a huge year for residencies, with some big names setting up shop on the Strip.
Las Vegas residencies have become a real phenomenon, haven't they? They offer a different kind of concert experience, kind of more intimate and theatrical, which seems to really appeal to people.
Absolutely. And this year's lineup is so diverse. We've got New Kids on the Block bringing back all that 90s nostalgia at Dolby Live. Blake Shelton is going to be serenading the country music fans at the Colosseum. And the Black Eyed Peas are bringing their futuristic vibes to Planet Hollywood.
It's cool how these residencies cater to such specific musical tastes. It reflects how the city has changed, going beyond just the traditional casino entertainment to include more genres and demographics.
Right. Oh, and let's not forget Nelly, who will be making appearances at Zouk Nightclub for the hip-hop and nightlife crowd. It's like there's a concert experience for everyone.
It's definitely not the Vegas of Elvis impersonators and showgirls anymore. The city is always changing to stay relevant and appeal to a wider audience.
Exactly. Now, this next piece of news is for the foodies out there. Get this. Bojangles, the Southern-style chicken chain, is finally opening up in Las Vegas.
That's interesting. Bojangles is huge in the South. But expanding to a market like Las Vegas is a big move. They're entering a food scene that's already incredibly diverse.
Yeah.
And competitive.
Yeah. Their first location is opening on January 20th on South Rainbow Boulevard, and they've got plans to open 20 more locations by 2027.
Wow. Do you think Vegas is ready for a taste of the South?
Well, Las Vegas has always been a mix of cultures and cuisines, and with all the new residents and tourists from all over the country, there's definitely a growing demand for comfort food, especially Southern classics like fried chicken and biscuits. So we'll see if they can capture that market share.
Right. Okay, and speaking of cultural experiences, let's talk about the Lunar New Year celebrations. They're happening all over Vegas. It's a time for family feasting and amazing cultural performances. Lunar New Year is a really important holiday in many Asian cultures. And Vegas is embracing it. The city's diverse Asian community shows how the city's culture is growing and becoming richer.
I agree. The Grand Canal shops are going all out. Cultural performances, lion dances, festive decorations. And over at Fashion Show Mall, they're having interactive musical lanterns, lucky envelope promotions, and even a lantern festival.
The lion dance is such a cool tradition. Did you know it's supposed to bring good luck and ward off evil spirits? It's not just a performance, it's a ritual with a lot of symbolism and cultural beliefs.
Wow, I didn't know that. And the color red, you see it everywhere during Lunar New Year. It represents good fortune and joy. It's amazing how deeply rooted these traditions are in the celebrations.
It's really vibrant and immersive.
Yeah.
And it shows a side of Las Vegas that often gets overlooked, because all the glitz and glamour. It reminds us that there's a rich cultural tapestry woven into the fabric of this city.
Totally. And for a really traditional lion dance performance, you can go to the Strat, where the Lohan School of Shaolin will be doing their thing.
The Lohan School of Shaolin is really respected in the martial arts world. Their performance is sure to be spectacular, combining athleticism, artistry, and cultural significance.
Absolutely. And several station casinos. Palace Station, Green Valley Ranch, Durango Casino and Resort, and Red Rock Casino, they're all holding their own lion dances.
It seems like wherever you go in Vegas during Lunar New Year, you're bound to run into a celebration. The city really embraces this holiday, offering so many ways to experience its cultural richness.
And for a truly beautiful experience, you can check out the Bellagio's Conservatory and Botanical Gardens. They've created this amazing display for the Year of the Snake.
The Bellagio's Conservatory is always worth seeing, but during special occasions like this, it becomes truly magical, showcasing the artistry and creativity that Las Vegas is known for.
I completely agree. Okay, before we move on, we need to talk about a more serious topic, one that's been in the news a lot lately: the concerning increase in deadly car accidents in Nevada. It's a sobering reminder that even with all the fun and excitement, Vegas is still a city with real-world problems.
Unfortunately, it's a trend we're seeing all over the country. Traffic fatalities are going up, and there are a lot of factors contributing to this, from distracted driving to just more cars on the road.
Yeah, Nevada had over 400 roadway fatalities in 2024 alone. And here in Clark County, where Las Vegas is, pedestrian fatalities are up by almost 15%, and motorcyclist deaths by a shocking 22%.
These numbers really highlight how important road safety is, especially in a busy city like Las Vegas. It's crucial to be aware of your surroundings, follow traffic laws, and make responsible choices when you're driving.
Absolutely. And one of the most tragic stories in the news recently is about Antonio Aguilera and his girlfriend, who were killed by a drunk driver going the wrong way. This is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of drunk driving. It's a responsibility we all share to make our roads safer for everyone.
Definitely. And while the Nevada State Police are doing more to enforce traffic laws and raise awareness with their Joining Forces campaign, it really comes down to individual choices. We all have a role to play in making things safer.
You know, it's interesting how these articles we're looking at highlight both the fun and the serious sides of Las Vegas. It's a city that loves celebration and indulgence, but also faces real-world problems that need attention and action.
It's that contrast, that duality, that makes Las Vegas such a fascinating and complex city. It's a place where anything is possible, both good and bad, and it's up to us to handle its complexities responsibly and with awareness. Yeah, it really is.
Speaking of enjoying things responsibly, one thing that really stood out to me in these articles was all the emphasis on cultural events, like the Lunar New Year celebrations. It's a good reminder that Vegas is more than just casinos and shows.
Definitely. Las Vegas has become a truly global city, and its cultural diversity is one of its greatest strengths. Lunar New Year is a perfect example. It's a chance for everyone, visitors and locals, to experience how rich and vibrant Asian culture is.
Yeah. And the lion dance, which we talked about earlier. It's such a captivating part of these celebrations. It's not just a performance. It's like a ritual full of symbolism and tradition. Can you tell us more about like the history and the meaning of the lion dance?
Well, the lion dance goes back centuries. It started in China and spread all over Asia. It's usually performed during Lunar New Year and other special occasions to bring good luck and prosperity. And to ward off evil spirits, the lion itself. It's seen as this powerful creature representing strength, courage, and good fortune.
I've always been amazed by how energetic and athletic the lion dancers are. How do they move so gracefully inside those costumes?
It takes a lot of skill and coordination. Usually you have two people inside the costume working together. One person controls the head, and the other controls the body and tail. They have to move together, mimicking the lion's movements, leaping, rolling, even interacting with the audience sometimes.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting. And the music that goes with the lion dance is so cool. What instruments do they typically use?
Oh yeah, the music is a really important part of the performance. It adds a sense of drama and excitement. You'll usually hear drums, cymbals, and gongs, creating this rhythmic and energetic sound that kind of drives the lion's movements. The music can be different depending on the region and style of lion dance, but it always adds another layer of intensity and cultural richness to the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like a feast for the senses. And speaking of feasts, food is such a big part of Lunar New Year celebrations. Have you ever tried any of the traditional dishes during this holiday?
Oh yeah, definitely. One of my favorites is nian gao. It's this sticky rice cake that symbolizes prosperity and good fortune. It can be steamed or pan-fried, and it has this slightly sweet flavor. Another popular dish is dumplings, which
Yeah.
represent wealth and abundance. They come in all sorts of shapes and fillings, and a lot of families make them together. It's a really nice tradition.
It sounds delicious. So beyond the food and the performances, there's also a lot of symbolism associated with Lunar New Year.
Yes, definitely. The holiday is full of symbolic elements, each with its own special meaning. For instance, the color red is everywhere during Lunar New Year because it represents good luck, joy, and warding off evil spirits. You'll see red lanterns, red envelopes with money inside. People even wear red clothing.
That's fascinating. It's interesting how even the colors have such deep cultural meaning.
Mm.
It's a good reminder that there's so much to learn and appreciate about different traditions and celebrations.
Absolutely. That's one of the great things about traveling and experiencing new cultures. It opens your mind. Yeah, and helps you see the world in new ways.
So true. Speaking of experiencing different sides of Las Vegas, we talked about the Rio Hotel and Casino celebrating its 35th anniversary. I know you mentioned this trend of tapping into nostalgia, but I'm curious, why do you think that strategy works so well in a place like Vegas?
I think nostalgia works in Las Vegas because the city itself is built on memories and iconic moments. People come to Vegas to get away from reality, to relive things from their past, or to make new memories that they'll cherish forever. So when a hotel like the Rio taps into those feelings of nostalgia, they're connecting with something very powerful, something that's part of the Vegas experience.
It's like inviting guests to step back in time and experience a little bit of that old Vegas magic.
Exactly. And for people who haven't experienced that era, it's a chance to see what made Las Vegas so legendary.
Right. I remember going to the Voodoo Lounge years ago. It's such a unique and memorable experience. It wasn't just the drinks or the views. It was the atmosphere, the energy, like being transported to a different world.
You're describing what makes a great Vegas experience. That special mix of excitement, escapism, and the feeling that anything is possible. And the fact that the Rio is bringing back the Voodoo Lounge tells me that they understand how important those things are.
Yeah, it's not just about creating a space. It's about creating an atmosphere, a feeling, a memory that people will take with them.
Exactly. And in a city that's always changing, always pushing the boundaries of entertainment, sometimes it's those classic timeless experiences that really stand out.
For sure. You know, while we're talking about hotels and their role in Vegas, I was struck by the contrast between the Rio's celebratory anniversary and the more serious issue of the rise in traffic fatalities. It reminds us that even with all the glitz and glamour, Vegas is still a city with real problems.
It's an important reminder. And I think it shows how important balance and responsibility are. Las Vegas offers all these opportunities for fun and excitement, but it's also a place where people live, work, and just go about their daily lives. It's about finding that middle ground between enjoying what the city has to offer and being mindful of our own safety and the safety of others.
I agree. And while we can't control everything that happens, we can definitely make choices to help create a safer environment. Whether it's paying attention when we're driving, watching out for pedestrians, or just being aware of our surroundings, those individual actions can really add up.
Absolutely. And as Las Vegas continues to grow, we have to remember that the city's success and well-being depend on the well-being of its people. It's a shared responsibility that we all have to take part in.
Yeah.
It really is a shared responsibility.
It is fascinating. This deep dive into Las Vegas has shown all these different sides of the city, the celebrations, the serious stuff, too. It makes you think. Vegas isn't just a playground. It's a real city with its own problems and successes.
It's what makes Las Vegas so interesting. It's a place that's always changing and reinventing itself, where dreams and reality kind of clash, and as we've talked about. It's also a city dealing with problems that a lot of urban areas face, like traffic safety and how to grow in a sustainable way.
You know about traffic safety? One of the articles talked about a pretty big increase in pedestrian and motorcyclist deaths. I wonder if that means Vegas needs better planning and infrastructure, to make it safer for people who aren't in cars.
That's a good point. As Las Vegas keeps growing and getting more visitors, it's really important to think about how the city can change to accommodate all the different ways people get around safely. We're seeing this shift towards making cities more walkable and encouraging people to use alternative transportation. Las Vegas could really benefit from that.
I agree. Imagine if the Strip had bike lanes or wider sidewalks so people could get around easier and safer without needing a car. It could change the whole feel of the city.
It definitely could. And it's not just about making things easier. It's about creating an environment that's more sustainable and inclusive. Imagine a Las Vegas where pedestrians and cyclists are a priority, where public transport is good and easy to use, and where the focus shifts away from cars to something more people-centric.
That's a vision worth working towards, especially as the city looks to the future. And, speaking of the future of Las Vegas, I keep thinking back to all the new developments and entertainment we talked about. It's clear that the city is always evolving, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
That's what Las Vegas is all about, isn't it? That constant search for new and exciting things, that drive to create experiences that are totally unexpected. And it's not just about casinos and shows anymore. There's so much more. World-class dining, immersive art, interactive experiences that blur the lines between real and make-believe.
It really is amazing. And with all the new people and businesses moving in, the city's culture is becoming even more diverse and lively. It's like Las Vegas is reinventing itself.
It's an exciting time to see this transformation. And like we've seen in these articles, it's not without its problems. But there's this sense of optimism. Like Las Vegas is ready for the future while still remembering its past.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Las Vegas, what's the most important thing for our listeners to take away? What's the one thing they should remember about this ever-changing city?
I think it's this. Las Vegas is a city of contrasts, a place where dreams and reality come together, where you have both excess and responsibility. It's a city that offers tons of opportunities for entertainment and fun, but it's also a place where people live and work and try to make things better.
That's a great way to put it. I think that's what makes Las Vegas so interesting. It reminds us that even in a city built on fantasy, real human experiences, with all their ups and downs, still matter. So the next time you think of Las Vegas, remember that beyond the bright lights and casinos, there's a city that's always changing, always full of surprises, and always bursting with life.
Maybe the next time you visit, you'll discover a whole new